IBS introduces the topic climate change and the various initiatives taken by countries to curb the effects on the environment. Climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events such as heat waves, droughts, floods, and tropical cyclones. Now let us talk about a few facts relating to climate change. The concentration of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere as of May 2020 is the highest that it has been in human history. 2019 was the second warmest year on record. NASA data shows that average global temperatures in 2019 were 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the 20th century average. There are evidences for rapid climate change, one being the global temperature rise. The planet's average surface temperature has risen about 2.05 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century, a change driven largely by increased carbon dioxide and other human-made emissions into the atmosphere. The second being shrinking of ice sheets. The Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets have decreased in mass. Data from NASA's Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment show Greenland lost an average of 279 billion tons of ice per year between the year 1993 and 2019. The third being ocean acidification. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the acidity of surface ocean waters has increased by about 30%. This increase is the result of humans emitting more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and hence more being absorbed into the ocean. The ocean has absorbed between 20% and 30% of the total anthropogenic carbon dioxide emissions in the recent decade. The UN has taken various initiatives and has conducted activities to curb the effects. The first is the climate adaptation. Reducing carbon emissions is no longer enough to halt the impacts of climate change. UNEP has implemented over 50 projects on climate change adaptation at global, regional, and national levels for 40 countries. These projects cover 4 priority areas: the ecosystem-based adaptation, knowledge analysis and networking, world adaptation science programs, and the national adaptation plans. Now let us see the Climate and Clean Air Coalition. The Climate and Clean Air Coalition's initial focus is on methane, black carbon, and NSFCs. At the same time, partners recognize that action on short-lived climate pollutants must complement and supplement the global action to reduce carbon dioxide. The raising awareness of short-lived climate pollutants, impacts, and mitigation strategies have become a common practice. Enhancing and developing new national and regional actions, including by identifying and overcoming barriers, increasing capacity, and mobilizing support. Promoting best practices. How about changing the finance and financing the change? Climate finance refers to local, national, or transnational financing, which may be drawn from public, private, and alternative sources of financing. UN Environment's work on climate finance is systematic and two-pronged. Through the Finance Initiative, UN Environment focuses on supporting private sector financial institutions, including banks, investors, and insurers, to understand and mitigate climate risks. Let us talk about the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement's central aim is to strengthen the global response to the threat of climate change by keeping a global temperature rise this century well below 2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels, and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase even further to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Additionally, the agreement aims to strengthen the ability of countries to deal with the impacts of climate change. To reach these ambitious goals, appropriate financial flows, a new technology framework, and an enhanced capacity building framework will be put in place. Here are a few ways what we can do to limit global warming and act on climate change. To prevent warming beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius, we need to reduce emissions by 7.6% every year from this year to 2030. Increased commitments can take many forms, but overall they must serve to shift an economies onto a path of decarbonization, setting targets for a net zero carbon, and timelines of how to reach the target, most typically through a rapid acceleration of energy sourced from the renewables and rapid declaration of fossil fuels dependencies. Thank you for watching our video. Stay tuned for the continuation of how countries curb the effects of climate change on the environment. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.